Animal Communication, Linguistics Chapter 14 by Ayanna, Christina Schachle, Kylie McClendon, and Valarie Smith. Charles Hockett identifies 9 design features of language. Humans are the only creatures on planet Earth that have a language that possesses all 9 features, so technically humans have the only true language. However, File 14.1 assesses all 9 design features in relation to animal communication systems. There are 3 design features shared by all animal communication systems. The first is mode of communication. All animals have a way to transmit a message, whether it be using visual cues, sound cues, touch, or electrical signals. The next is semanticity and pragmatic function. All animals have communication signals that serve a useful purpose. There are 4 design features shared by some animal communication systems. There is interchangeability. Some animal systems have the ability to both send and receive messages. Another is cultural transmission. Some animal communication systems have at least some part of their communication that is learned through interaction with other users. In most animals, however, communication skills are innate. Arbitrariness is another feature. Since most animal systems have signals that represent their meaning, they are not arbitrary. Some signals, however, are arbitrary, so they have signals not directly related to its meaning. Most animal systems are not able to build complex messages out of discrete parts, so most don't have the feature of discreteness. There are 2 design features not found in animal communication systems. None have shown displacement, meaning no animal systems are able to communicate about things that are not present in space or time. They also lack productivity. Animal systems do not have rule-based expression, an infinite number of messages, or novel ideas. Some interesting points are about debate regarding the language features. Are bonobos able to communicate about things not present in space or time? It appears they give signals as to where food sources are hidden, but it is unclear as to whether or not they truly display the ability of displacement. Also, some birds and whales seem to use different combinations of discrete units. However, it does not seem that they use these discrete units to create signals with novel meanings. So, does human language differ from animal language qualitatively or quantitatively? If there was a quantitative difference, we would find an animal system that possessed all 9 design features, but with some expressed to a lesser degree than human language. If there was a qualitative difference, we would not find an animal system that possesses all 9 design features. It is, however, sometimes hard to decide whether an animal system displays a certain feature. If we conclude a communication system needs all 9 design features to be considered a language, then animal communication systems are not language. File 14.2 deals with different forms of animal communication in the wild. The 3 animals it discusses are bees, birds, and primates. Bees use a dance to communicate the location of a food source to other bees. There are 3 movements they can use to convey the distance of a food source. If a bee dances in a round shape, then the food source is less than 20 feet away. The sickle-shaped dance means the food source is 20 to 60 feet away. If a bee uses a tail-wagging dance, then the food source is more than 60 feet away. Birds use calls and songs to communicate. Calls are short and simple and are used as warnings, expressions of aggression, and coordinate flight activity. Songs are more complex and are mainly used by male birds to attract mates. Primates use a combination of facial and vocal stimuli. Their communication is the most similar to human language because of the 3 animals discussed in the chapter. Here are some things that we found interesting in File 14.2. Human language differs from animal communication because ours is not a direct result of some form of stimuli that make up animal communication. All animal communication is a direct result of internal, external, or emotional stimuli. The communication of bees is limited, and they cannot communicate special circumstances other than the distance of food source in their messages. Birds can change the sound of their calls to hide their location. Whether you can locate the bird who is using a call depends on whether the bird wants to be found or not. This helps keep predators away from a bird who is warning others. Bird songs are very predictable in their makeup and follow specific rules or patterns. Vervet monkey have a variety of calls to alert the group of different predators. For example, the call for a leopard approach is different from the call if an eagle is seen nearby. Here are some fun facts about animal communication from File 14.2. Monkeys use facial cues that are very similar to those used by humans. Though apes have a variety of communication variables, they cannot combine them to make a new meaning as human language allows. All animal language is a direct result of some form of stimulus. This could be external, internal, or emotional, but does not allow original thought to be conveyed. The absence of creativity is what makes animal language different from that of a human. File 14.3, Can animals be taught language? In this section, multiple animals are studied to examine their ability to learn human language. 14.3 Part 1, The Most Important Point. Primate studies with chimps have revealed that such animals are capable of mirroring the signs in ASL, which is American Sign Language, to form simple morphemes. It is through this process that chimps learn a language, since the vocal anatomy of chimps are not capable to produce human speech sounds. It is easier for chimps to learn the English language through ASL, since they use the mechanics of their hands and feet to communicate in different ways already. Part 1, Most Interesting Point. The experiments with chimpanzees have involved a simplified form of sign language called lexicograms, using symbols made of geometric shapes that are different colors. These shapes are used to create sentences on a language board that the chimps use to reiterate what the board says. The usage of the board and the motions given from the instructors have made other researchers become skeptical of the chimps' ability to be competent in the English language. Extra facts. In criticisms of this research, there have been views that state that the ability for chimps to acknowledge and know a language is not possible. Further, the experiments have resulted in the chimp learning the words insert, banana, pail, as in insert the banana into the pail. However, when the fruit was replaced with a different object, there was no evidence of the chimp knowing the difference. Therefore, this experiment supports the criticism that states that chimps cannot fully and accurately be taught a language. In another experiment completed by Herbert Terrace in teaching his chimp, Nim, to learn the language, the only thing he could sign back was a repetition of the same 4 words: give, me, eat, orange, and you in different patterns. The signs weren't placed in a logical sentence. This further explains the inability of a chimp to actually know and learn a language such as English. Part 2. Can animals be taught language? Important points. According to the previous files, there is no naturally occurring animal communication system that is equivalent to human language, but can it be taught? Early studies have been critically questioned because those primates, including Coco the gorilla and Nim the chimp, who seemed to communicate using ASL, were simply associating certain behaviors with certain consequences. Like a dog learning the word walk is equated with going on a walk. The signing was invariably a request for food or social reward, and never displayed unsolicited communication, questions, grammar, or turn-taking. This revelation caused researcher Sue Savage Rambeau to begin experimenting with the question, when apes use a sign, do they know what it means? She focuses her research on this question and is sure to specifically and intentionally teach how to use symbols first before tests can be informatively administered. Along with primates, a few domestic animals have also been reported to have the ability to communicate with humans. Unfortunately, many of these accusations have been disproven. 14.3 Part 2, Interesting Points. There are a few animals that come very close to being considered as using a language. Researcher Sue Savage Rambeau successfully worked with chimps to determine if apes can understand a sign when they use it. She used the results of those studies to begin to research the ability of primates to be taught language. Her latest work is with a species smarter than the average chimpanzee, the bonobo. Savage Rambeau has reported anecdotal observations and results of tests that claim the bonobo has learned to comprehend spoken English, just by being exposed to it. She will continue to run carefully controlled experimentation to further confirm the claims. So far, this work is the closest we have come to teaching a primate human language. There are also studies of non-primate animals attempting to learn language. A border collie named Chaser is commonly classified as the smartest dog ever tested. Chaser demonstrates the ability to understand categories and use words symbolically. 14.3 Part 2 Additional Information. Sue Savage-Rambeau's research has shown that primates' communicative ability to take turns, make utterances which are not limitations of their trainers, and produce messages not only when they are elicited, but other times as well. In 1977, Irene Pepperberg taught Alex, an African gray parrot, how to identify 4 different shapes, 5 different colors, and 3 different materials using a model rival technique. He was presented with both novel and familiar items and displayed at least 80% accuracy in the description. Alex was also able to respond to 2 object questions and other second-order logical tasks. Pepperberg claimed that Alex had well-defined mental categories and conceptual representations, but she did not claim that Alex knew language.